So my name's Adam Penny. I am the agency owner for Frontline Construction Recruitment in South Australia, based in Adelaide. And I've owned the agency now for only 2 months. And obviously prior to that I was in the emerging program as a franchise manager. I've been in recruitment for sort of 15 years, mainly through mining, civil, construction, infrastructure, and always had probably more so a labour hire background. And then from what the business Frontline were able to do was give me an opportunity where I could tap into those contacts, and then work through the program and build BD, and continually expand on the client database that I had and relationships, and then fortunate enough to become an owner. I was approached by one of the training guys in head office. There was an opportunity in Adelaide to I guess get in the program as an agency manager. Conversation started and that kind of stuff, and from there, I guess the actual opportunity I probably felt as if it was too good to be true initially, so I was quite guarded. I was in a good job, and from there I had a conversation with Brooke and Mel, who are obviously our GM, and but from that team's meeting onwards I felt a lot more comfortable, and then reference checks and that kind of stuff, and I started the program back towards I think it was the 2nd of July last year. The conversations early were very positive, and then it probably became real for me where if I again was able to tap into the clients that I've had been working with over my journey, if I could bring that into agency ownership through Frontline Construction, like the bigger Frontline Recruitment group, that was quite easy. The process was smooth, all transparent. I felt very supported from the start, and they allowed me to push my own brand with previous clients, but I was supported by a bigger business, so that the name obviously helped me. Marketing, exposure, and all those kinds of things made it very easy to step into, knowing that I was part of a bigger business. There was another company early days, but I'd progressed and felt really comfortable with the team that I was talking to at the time with Frontline. I was fortunate enough to have a good salary at the time, and then being able to make the shift. From there, I was well supported with a salary that provided a backbone for me to develop the business. So rather than going out and starting on my own, you worry about cash flow. Even big thing too in recruitment is invoicing. So I'd have to be chasing that. So debt management from head office is very good. Chasing accounts and those kinds of things. So from the start, the whole operational part of it was almost safeguarded, for me personally, and then I was supported by head office. The salary, it starts straight away, and for anyone that wants to sort of know the nitty-gritties, it's a fortnightly pay, and it just gave you the ability to keep doing what you're doing and then grow the business. So it's not like, hey, when's do I need an invoice here? Do I need that paid? You actually have a salary there that's just ticking away in the background and gives the ability to go away and grow the business, and that goes for 6 months. And then there's a discussion around becoming the franchise owner with the wider group and management. So the meetings and discussions are always very transparent and supportive. I felt, I have an agency developer, and it's weekly meetings, actually 2 meetings a week, and trying to follow what we call a success tracker within the business, and obviously try to ensure to hit those targets the best you can. So then what happens is the ownership, it becomes yours officially, and after that, obviously it's it's your business in your own right, and then invoices, or call them commissions or whatever, payment advice. You start making it your own, which was really exciting time, for me and my family to be able to go and establish your own business. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So it's, as you know, the group itself is a national business. The guys in other states with Frontline Construction have a really large database, and they're supportive. So if we do have any other leads that are in South Australia, it's all very transparent, and I'm giving business through, the previous other, or the guys that are within Queensland, Victoria, and if they have clients that are able to trade in South Australia, they give me their details and we can go from there. I think the back end stuff mainly for me is important is accounts. That's actually done seamlessly. So obviously, I guess the suite of tech that we're able to have from the start, whether it be the internal database, Seek Premium, Market Base, it gives you the ability to keep doing what you're doing operationally, but then you're supported from head office. Marketing's obviously a big one too. So marketing, compliance, accounts, it actually gets done, and you can keep working. So we don't, I'm supported through invoicing and all that kind of stuff, rather than having to go back and plug it in, do it yourself. It's all done. As a whole, it's just hard to get started as your own business. So, if I went out on my own to, without the support of Frontline, it would have been very difficult. Mainly from a branding perspective. Obviously, they provide that supportive salary through the 6-month program. So that gives you some surety about, hey, you've got money coming in and that kind of stuff. And then you're actually being able to develop your territory. So I honestly don't think I could have been able to get where I am now. I only, been in ownership only a couple of months, but I couldn't have done it without the support of the team for sure. On top of the salary, that they are also able to provide commissions on any on the placements that have come through the program, which is quite unique. I was fortunate enough to attend a large conference last year. I think it was in July or August, which was awesome. And then obviously there are other conferences that are throughout Australia, Sydney mainly. And what they've been able to do is help me meet, we're a very big business, and you can meet other agency managers and owners and see how they go about it. So, the incentives obviously are really, really good financially, but outside of that, you're always meeting people in the business. The conferences and that kind of stuff and the activities within them are actually really, really worthwhile. Yeah, I think if you don't follow the program that is designed to work and it has had a lot of success, you just probably won't, because you're actually very well supported throughout. Again, I have an agency developer with me, almost twice a week, getting together, talking about, how you build the business and why, but then also what it looks like moving forward. So it's not just a weekly thing. We're looking into the future. So, it might not work for some people. And in saying that too, the Success Tracker program, it isn't, recruiters outside of ownership and other businesses have some extremely high KPIs and really, really targets that may be not achievable. But, the Success Tracker program is very transparent, target focused, and it actually, if you're doing the activity, you will get a result. So it's not just, again, other recruitment businesses will just say, yeah, KPI is this, but the Success Tracker is designed to say, if you're doing these activities, you will get a result. Yeah, so again, a part of the program itself, the business was, again, very supportive around how you get there too. So placements, and that contributed to the franchise ownership becoming less. So a part of it, and they were very, very transparent from the start, is you can actually have anything you contribute to it, it'll become less. So the amount, it would be quite low if you're able to generate enough revenue through the program, which is fantastic because not everyone is able to go out and loan or have that amount of money to actually grab it. You could almost get to the point of where it's actually yours by program ending, which is very exciting. So you work as hard as you can, ensure you've got revenue coming through. It can also be yours from the start. For me, again, being open and transparent, it wasn't like this massive influx of businesses. It's hard to get started, but again, Frontline were able to manage that and then support me through a point of where this is the agreement, and the summers. You can sort of just contribute to it the best you can over a 12-month period by having the placements coming through and the revenue. So the cash, up front, yes, of course you can do that, but there's also real flexibility and support around, paying a amount if you need. It would have probably only been around, between probably 5 to 8 placements. And that's not a great number over 6 months, to be honest. But that sort of comes through, and every recruiter has counter offers and all that yucky kind of stuff. But again, what the program was doing was giving the ability to be meeting clients all the time and having a pipeline to ensure that. And again, the business supported me to see that there was enough activity there to show that the ownership piece would work. So the financials through the program weren't huge, but there was enough to show that, hey, we've got trust in Adam, and I had trust in the business too that would make it work. In terms of royalties, the ongoing stuff is a very small amounts around the franchise ownership piece, so it's nothing. It's actually very rewarding to do from an ownership perspective. I've spoken to other businesses that aren't in recruitment, and their, I guess, if you want to call split, is a lot higher. So it's actually really quite rewarding if you can get it right. It wouldn't just be one thing. It would be hard just to put it down to one thing. But I think from the start it was, and again, the conversations I had with the guys early days, as I actually said, it was too good to be true. I just didn't think this had to be I just didn't believe it. And then we actually had a gap where we didn't meet for probably 4 to 6 weeks, then reconnected. So I guess for me, being supported from head office, and sometimes that doesn't work. You have other businesses that are corporates, and the head office function doesn't provide operational support, but the program genuinely does. So there's learning and development, compliance, again, accounts, marketing. So it's actually the whole suite that's available is very powerful and supportive from the start. No, it keeps going. Yep. L&D. We have lunch and learns, which is always good, and it keeps going. Yep. I think we're really, as a whole, we're really responsive and quick to market stuff as well. So branding, LinkedIn, marketing awareness. So we're quite savvy around that. Not within other territories that are obviously owned by other owners. However, I can, I can support or pass on business to those guys. So it's not, a ever challenging or sort of yucky conversations around, trying to do the wrong thing with other owners. It's all very transparent and we support each other. I would pass it on to the other owner. Yep. So I wouldn't look to, if it's a national setup, we're well set up through our terms of business and contacts through our database, and we would just quite simply email, bang, and deliver to the client as usual. For me, I love to start growing the business through obviously internal staff, and looking to expand that way because there's such an opportunity in South Australia. I think it will probably come down to it is high risk but high reward. So, yeah, I was actually out of external recruitment for nearly 2 years. So jumping back into it, what the program allowed me to do was tap into clients that I hadn't actually, contacted or did business with over a 2-year period. So I was doing internal recruitment. So, the program for me I was able to re-establish, my contact list. And develop it over that time, and over the last probably sort of 6 to 8 weeks I've been fortunate enough to to have some good results. So it was, and you think all things, is it worth doing? From a family perspective, it could be terrible and it doesn't work, but from a personal level, but also from the wider group, we put in a lot of work to ensure that as I come out the other side as an owner, that it would be right ongoing. There were some times throughout the program, though, you probably sort of, it's not about feeling lonely, it's more like, have you still got the ability to actually do this? There were times, all recruiters have it, whether it be a counter offer or, no-shows and all this kind of stuff, and clients not wanting to do business. So there does become self-doubt. So if I was doing that by myself, not a part of the Frontline group, but, it's very hard to get no one to talk to. Hey, Ad, you need to do this to make sure you get back on track. So the beauty of what head office and support was able to do was actually manage the ups and downs. So actually try and be consistent in what we're doing. And the beauty of and what these guys do so well is, they're there for you when it's not working, but, they also celebrate the good stuff too. The support around that, even for me, again, over the last month or so, I've been really quite surprised.